Hi everyone, so I've recently taken delivery of my Megapoints kit. So I'm going to do some experimenting and see what it's like. So it comes with a sticker if you wanted to stick it on. I'm guessing that's for display layouts and things like that. So the actual pack is actually only small. Haven't opened it yet. So you must use a regulated 12-volt power supply with this device. Use of traditional controller transformer will result in damage. See web for details. Warning: static sensitive device. So let's open it. Okay, so it comes with servo cables. That's for connecting to switches. More information. Apologise about the sound of the camera focusing. Using an SLR today, so it's a bit noisier than what the phone is. And there's a controller itself, very small, but hopefully it'll do what I want it to do. The whole system is expandable, so I can add another one of these easily enough. So the other purchases I've made is this here, which is a power supply for, it's supposed to be for like LED lights and things like that. This is 12 volts at 6 amps. There are lower amperage ones available, but I thought I could possibly power other things from this, other lighting and stuff like that. 6 amps is a lot really, so it should be enough to power all the lighting and everything on the layout, hopefully. But we'll see. It's relatively cheap, so if I find it doesn't work, I can easily replace it. It's got a connector. I think it's a 5.5 by 1.2 connector. I will possibly cut that off and to power this. Right, so that's the controller. Right, that's come with the leads. So the other purchase I've made is I've ordered lots of servos because that's what this uses. These are relatively cheap. I've ordered 24 of them for about 20, I think it was about £22 or something like that. So it's dirt cheap really when you consider this is the equivalent of 24 point motors I've got here, which would be hundreds if I'd gone down the SEEK route. This can only power 12 individually. Like I say, it's expandable. Okay, so one area where I've cocked up, I've ordered some toggle switches, but I've ordered the wrong ones. These are non-latching ones, so they're on, off, on. So I have already placed an order for some, basically just want on-off ones, which is what I've ordered, but it should still be sufficient to test this because I'll still have movement in both directions, I think, or I can just wire it up. Whoops. I'll just wire it up to the off and one of the ons, and it'll just mean I'll have to hold it to test it. So I can still test it. I just won't do a permanent fix. So The other thing I've ordered is piano wire. I've ordered two different sizes, size 9 and size 12. It's recommended that you have, I think it's 0.6 to 0.9 mil piano wire, which is roughly what both of these were. I thought they're cheap enough, they're like £1.50 each or something like that, so I thought I'll buy both, and then if I find one's better or easier to use than the other, then I'll stick with it. It's no great loss. But yeah, so that's that. And the other thing I've ordered is what was recommended on the Megapoints site, is some of this from Wix, and it is sold as 15.5, I think it says, yeah, 15.5 by 1.5 millimeter kind of channel, aluminium channel. I think it's sold or marketed as a door strip or something like that. Again, this was fairly cheap. It was like, I think it was £2 or £3. So let's get one of these servos out and have a look. So the idea of this is that the servo will sit in there, which it does. It's not tight, however what's been recommended is that you just squeeze this in a vise or with some pliers to crimp it down. The other thing I know is possible is you can hot glue these in place. I've done it hundreds of times with radio control planes and things, and it's always seemed to work alright. So I think how they actually sit is like that. So I think I'll possibly have to cut one lot of the screw bit off. That's easy enough, to allow it to sit flush like that. Oops, sorry. And then this is screwed down. Obviously I'll cut this into suitable sections, and then mount them underneath the baseboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make up a test rig really and play around with it. I'd rather do it on a test rig so I can get to grips with it and find out how it works and things like that before I go on with setting it up on the actual layout. So let's see what happens. Let's get to work. Right, so I've wired everything up. I've cut a piece of the aluminium section, and I've cut the little bottom mounting piece off the servo so it fits in there nicely. So I've crudely wired up the switch here as well, just to check that it works. So now with a pull of the switch, as you can see the servo moves, which is quite effective. Nice speed as well. So that seems to work alright. So now I'm going to do a bit of programming. So now I've had a little go at programming it, so we can see the servo is offset a little bit, so it's the right kind of movement we want for moving points. So to test this, what I've got is a board with some points on. Let me just zoom out a little bit. So I'm going to screw these down and going to try and set this up as if it's an actual layout. So bear with me. Right, so I've set this up on a bit of track. I've still got it wired up to the same switch. So if I push the switch this way, as you can see, the point changes. And it seems to work pretty well. So my next plan is, just zoom out a tiny bit, I put 2 points together. Right, and what I'm hoping to do, possibly, I'm not too worried if it doesn't work, but it will save a bit of money potentially. So, as you know, this Megapoints board controls 12 separate points. What I'm considering trying is wiring 2 servos up on a Y harness on opposites, if that makes sense. Because obviously if this point here changes, like so, then this point here will have to change as well. So why not have them on one switch? Which makes sense to me. I'm sure a lot of other layouts are set up the same anyway. So hopefully I can just flick one switch and both of these points will change. So that's my next thing I'm going to try. Unfortunately, the Y harnesses have not arrived, so I'm going to have to hold off finishing this video until they arrive. So there we go.